So what makes me is making today is high hydration ramen noodles, and this is a udon machine. We call it ΣΙΝ'ΟΥЧΙ, and it's it's actually available like yeah, anywhere in the world, and like we even have like CE mark on it, so it's available for Europe as well, and it's got like fairly big mixer. This is like 12.5 kilograms mixer. Like you can mix up to like 12.5 kilograms of dough. I mean flour at the time. And the reason that's like 12.5 is that like the bag of like commercial flour in Japan is 25 kilograms, and so it's the maximum capacity of this mixer is like exactly half that. And so first of all, like we like to just mix it with the flour, solid, and the solid ingredients like so we had the ramen flour with kind of whole wheat flour, mixed it, and she's mixing like salt and currency in the water, and then hydration ratio. This one is 48%, and so that's actually a pretty high hydration ratio, like for ramen noodles. But something that's not really possible. Like if you try to do it like in the ramen machine, this dough that's this high in hydration. So to and so she added like the liquid, right? And then the liquid is dripping through the holes to the flour bit by bit to like to promote the good hydration of dough. And it's just gonna be 5 minutes, but like we don't want to waste 5 minutes. So she prepared the dough in advance. It's the same, same type of dough, same recipe, and what she's gonna do is that she's gonna do a press process, and so this is a press machine, and so this kind of like this machine mimics the kind of food pressing, food stepping on the kind of hand baking of handmade noodles, handmade noodle methods, and so what it does, like this is kind of flat press machine, and like it just kind of press the dough at the top, and then comes back down, and it's gonna repeat that like a few times until the dough is like it's well there's like well pressed, and in the process like the gluten structure inside dough is like very tight, very well developed. It's actually a lot of pressure that this press machine is applying to the dough now, and then you can see that she's like so flat, right? And then it's a lot of pressure that like this dough just sustain, right? And then well it goes for another pressing, and then but like how she like look at how she like was folding it. by folding it like inwards, she's trying to like kind of press like the entire area of the dough kind of equally, evenly. So every area of the dough is pressed like with that like equal amount of pressure, so that uh, so like the entire areas of dough is well developed in the structure. So it's and this is the third time I'm pressing. It's getting really good. So for those like who attended the previous class, like watching how dough condition is like well we process like on a ramen machine. Um, it's impossible, right? It's impossible for this press machine to process that kind of drier dough. Like because of the high hydration, these machines can do the press. I mean, well, make that dough into kind of small solid dough. So, so after 4 minutes, right? She added like rest of the water and mix it for 1 more minute. So we want to divide it into like smaller pieces for her to be able like kind of handle it like easier. Because if it's too big, right, then we she can't like she wouldn't be able like sheet it out like uh, one time like one time. So like she because the dough is gonna be like really large in area. So it's really pretty hard for her to like kind of well sheet it to the final thickness on this kind of limited space. So it's more efficient for her to divide it into small pieces to sheet like each piece like at a time. So what she's doing now is she's putting the dough back to aging machine. Remember, like this is second resting process. The second enrichment process. So like we usually do like 18 degrees Celsius for overnight. So what she's doing now is that she is getting the dough like she prepared like last night and start sheeting it. So compared to our ramen machine, like this udon machine is like more of like more of the like machine that like actually mimics the kind of hand making methods of noodle production and so there's more like kind of manual operations that are involved and nothing like I want to point out and difference like I want to point out like from how the ramen machine operates is that like so ramen machine has the rollouts right and then like when you sheet it on that machine you sheet the dough on the machine like you can go only one direction like the dough is like just sheeted like in one direction. But like in this machine, like you can actually sheet like in multiple directions, like like any kind of directions you want. So that's a major difference. And then because the dough is like sheeted like in different directions, multiple directions, um, it gets to like strengthen like um, in different directions. So when you pull it, when you try to tear it in different directions, it's stronger than the dough that's processed in the ramen machine, which is just sheeted in the one direction. And you maybe have like noticed that like there's like number in the display like that's kind of changing like as she sheets the dough, right? And that's a sense of like that's actually thickness the dough that's being rolled. And so there's a sensor that's checking the thickness of the dough. And see now it's 5.8 millimeter, like but like just double like folded like double layered of like sheet, right? That's so that one sheet of dough should be 2.9 millimeter, like it's more like almost like a 3 millimeter. So the thickness is 3 millimeter. Let's go for another round sheeting. That's 5.2, so like that's 2.6 each. Another one. So we're gonna cut, and that's where like you set the width, cutting width. And so that's a cutter, and the width of the noodles is actually controlled by the speed of the conveyor belt. So the faster the conveyor belt, the wider the noodle will be. So you can control the conveyor speed. How fast the like this dough sheet is going into the cutter. Okay, so that's cut noodles, and then another just a bit of like a trick that like she wants to show is that like so like when it comes like ramen noodles, like udon noodles, like kind of thick, softer noodles, we can make them curly, right? And we can use that actually this press machine to make them curly like automatically. Like it's kind of because it's maybe like a lot of work, like time consuming, like to make them curly by hand, by your hand, like by like kind of squeezing them like well enough to make them curly enough. So it's sometimes like kind of cool to use this like press machine to like you know make them curly like so that saves you a lot of time. So it's just like some small trick that we sometimes use. And by the way, this is a type of noodle like we can use for the tsukemen, and of course like we can use like for soup noodles as well. And it's like texture wise, like this is very good. And remember, like we don't use like as much the solid ingredients as like low or like medium hydration ratio noodles. So you use like less of the ingredients, but like you get more. All right, so that's the it's a high hydration ramen noodles, and yeah, she made like some other things, some other stuff like before, and then so she made like some some with like eggs in them, and another type like that without eggs, like for vegan customers. And she actually made some pizza dough before, and like you will be able to like check it in a minute. All right, so that's our udon machine, and we're gonna plan to like use that udon machine like more, and like show you guys like how much more like much more like bigger potential like this udon machine like they have for you for business. All right, so let's move to the kitchen. Hi. Okay, so today like we are doing tsukemen dish and like using high hydration noodles and pizza dough. Okay, yes, because like it takes time a bit of time like to cook the tsukemen noodles. So like we will start tsukemen first. That's 6 minutes. Okay, let's go over the ingredients, toppings. Chashu like pork shoulder. It's a leek, memma, and a half boiled egg, soft boiled egg, mitsuba. It's a kind of herb. Sudachi like the kind of like citrus with the like kind of bitter they say to it like kind of Japanese citrus. These are the toppings. Then talk about the soup. So this is a tonkotsu, like pork bone broth, and I added like a bit of like fish stock to it. Then the tare sauce, and soy sauce tare, like shoyu tare, and let's flavor oil. The flavor oil like that has like kind of animal type and like a plant type as well, both. And for tsukimi, like that's kind of typical, but like it's fish powder, like kind of fine fish powder. Yeah, we're gonna sprinkle it like bit of like the fish powder, the sauce. Okay, so like into the bowl, this is gonna be like dipping sauce, so it's gonna be and then we're gonna add the tare, the soy sauce based tare, and then flavored oil. And I'm gonna add like a bit of like leeks as well. And I'm gonna add the warmed broth to it to finish it. Yeah, so it's gonna take a bit of time like to cook the skim in noodles. So let's move to the pizza. So this is a pizza dough like I made and a machine like the mixer, and then the press it like the press machine. And this hydration ratio is like actually like 57%, so close to like 60%. And yeah, like so I proofed them. So I let them sit for a while. After like added like yeast. So they're going through like resting process like sufficiently, and then so I flatten it, and I'm just gonna add like tomato sauce. And so I'm gonna do like mozzarella cheese and and I'm gonna put it in the oven like set at 300 degrees Celsius. Just gonna put some basil too. Yeah, I'm gonna put it in the oven, bake it. Okay, so get the noodles out and I'm gonna wash them. It's important to wash them because there's some starch like coming off the noodles. Like the stuff is gonna be like kind of slimy. It's not good texture. So I wanna get rid of the starch like as much as possible, like in washing. I know you can tell like if the starch is gone or not, like by looking at the water. If it's like clean, then it's gone. Yeah. So you should wash them like as much as you can to get rid of the starch. Then I'm gonna plate it. Yeah. So like what's important is like when like plating this kind of noodle is that like we should like comb through the noodles, like here like combing the hair, so you kind of make them straight. And I'm gonna place it like in the kind of like in the back, in the rear area, because like I'm gonna have like some space in the front for toppings. Yeah, I'm gonna warm up the soup and finish off the broth. So I'm just gonna add this stock right to the tare. Then lastly, like I'm gonna add this fish powder. This is partly because like we want to make it viscous a little bit. Okay, so that's done. And I think pizza is ready as well. So like um, so having it's like these are both high hydration ratio noodles and dough product. So, well, we could have like much more variety, like using high hydration dough. So it's yeah, it's like that's limitless. Like what you can do with noodle machine, like high hydration noodles, dough, and that's just like you're probably like limitless the imagination. So yeah, and then we will continue to cover this topic like in the future and like kind of making like different applications of high hydration noodles and high hydration dough in the future. So if you are interested in this high hydration dough products like noodles, please check back with us.